Hello everyone. Today we are going to start with social movement in modern India. As we all know, India is a diverse country with many inequalities, and when these inequalities are challenged and collective mobilization happens, then social movements takes birth. So today we are going to start with Dalit movement. Let's have a look what Dalit. Dalit means the broken or oppressed, deprived section of society both ritually as well as socio-economically. So we can say that socio-cultural exclusion, economic deprivation and political exploitation of centuries made them to break out of such kinds of age-old prejudices. Hence, they began to protest with the help of literatures or forming organizations like the Dalit Panthers, which came to be recognized as Dalit movement. The Dalit movement also began as a protest movement in India, characterized by atrocities, discrimination, exploitation, and subordination that raised people's demand for justice and equality. It is this idea of equality that forced people to protest in the forms of movements. Let's have a brief background of Dalit movement. Like in pre-independence period, Satyashodhak movement was initiated by Jyotirao Phule, and his main objective was to liberate the Shudras and Ati-Shudras and to prevent them from exploitation of upper caste. He emphasized majorly on education in facilitating social change. Mahatma Phule has wrote a book, Gulamgiri, which acts as a fierce critique of collusion between Brahmins and British administrators. So it actually emerges as a cultural revolt in a colonial society which is ruled by the Brahmins. Then we have SNDP movement, that is its main objective was to right of admission of public schools, recruitment to public employment, entry into temples and political representation. So it was initiated by Sri Narayana Guru. Then let's have a look at self-respect movement, which was initiated by Periyar, and he was completely against Brahminical order and glorified the Dravidian identity. So he actually glorified the idea of self-respect marriage system whereby marriages were conducted without Brahmin priest, abolition of dowry and encouraged inter-caste marriages. And in 1942, B.R. Ambedkar formed AISCF, that is All India Scheduled Caste Federation, which emerged as a torch bearer for Dalits at all India level. So he started protesting like burning of Manusmriti, to drinking water from prohibited tanks, to conversion to Buddhism as a repudiation of Hindu religion. So we can see that how much anger they had like against the Brahminical colonialism. Then he laid down the values of equality, liberty and fraternity in the constitution and also abolished untouchability. Yes, we can say that B.R. Ambedkar has a very significant role in Dalit movement. And in 1957, All India Scheduled Caste Federation was dissolved and RPI, that is Republic Publican of India, Republic Party of India, was formed by the Ambedkarites, the followers of Ambedkar, and their aim was amelioration of socio-economic conditions of Dalits and the poorer class to enable them to capture political power. Then we have the Panther phase, the Dalit Panther phase. In 1972, a group of intellectuals who were revolutionary anti-caste revolution by Namedo Dhasal and J.V. Pawar generated consciousness among Dalits and led to some sort of renaissance in Marathi literature called justice, example justice. So they also initiated Dalit Sahitya, which highlighted the deeper social maladies of untouchability and clearly debunks Chaturvara literature, that is the Varna system. Then we have the emergence of Bahujan Samaj Party in 1984, which was founded by Kanshi Ram, and he constructed the Dalit Shudra unity through the emphasis on the term Bahujan, freed Dalit mobilization from mainstream politics. So that was the whole background and achievements throughout the years. Now we are going to have a look of different thinkers on the Dalit context. Preservation of Brahmanism, a Marxist connotation. Brahmin superstructure is controlling the mode of production in order to exploit the Dalit base through ideology inflicted in people's mind through cultural hegemony. Then we have caste preservation through marriage. Marriage should be within the caste system only, or it will lead to social degeneration. Thus began the practice of gender discrimination, leading to Brahminic hegemony in Indian society. Then we have books on Dalit movement are written, but these books do not reflect the actual things and are written keeping in view the Brahmin elites, because no one wants to confront those who have power, right? Because people were actually scared of them. The movement lacked people from all communities of Dalit. For instance, in Maharashtra, the Mahars dominated the movement. The other Dalit communities like Mangs and Chamars were not actively involved in the movement. The next is Sanskritization. The Dalits who got power became Brahmins' puppet. Many of them tend to imitate the Brahmins, changing their surnames and thus identity. They are ashamed of being called Dalits, which make them to discriminate against their own kith and kins. And on the other, the Shudras are discriminating the Ati Shudras, both of which are Dalits. This discrimination made the majority of Brahmanized Dalits to accept the Brahminical domination willingly. It should be noted that Dalit movement is against Brahmanism and not against Brahmins. So now we are going to have a look upon the weapon which is going to enhance the Dalit movement. Power through knowledge, means to attain dignity. Dynamics of Dalit movement in today's era. With globalization, Dalit movement remains no more inward looking, rather they are more aspirational and vocal today, and effectively utilizing the social media platforms. Devdasi, practiced during the Brahminic period, has widened its horizon into women's prostitution, against which government has passed laws for women's protection. The Rasan Dietre, which means the ground on which it should be fixed for reservation, is not merely economic as imputed by the court in Nagraj case 2006, but untouchability and its tenacious grip on the society, on our society. So we can conclude that in manifest terms, untouchability is checked, but in latent terms, it still exists, which can only be eradicated through education. Thus, right? Education is the foundation of every movement and of every change, because it is important to first aware people about the things that they are going through. Thus, movement for social change will succeed only when all the Dalits unite together to fight for equality. So here, social change would mean to get rid of discriminatory practices and a life of dignity and rights necessary for upliftment of the backward section of society, the Dalits. It was thus Phule and Ambedkar gave the main emphasis on education and Dalits. Thank you so much.